my God, Becky, look at her butt. It is so big. She looks like one of those rap guys' girlfriends. But, who understands those rap guys? They only talk to her because she looks like a total prostitute, okay? I mean, her butt is just so big. I can't believe it's just so round. It's like out there, I mean, gross. Look, she's just so black.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other runners can't deny. And when a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung. Wanna pull up, cause you notice that butt was stuck. Deep energy she's wearing. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring. Oh baby, I wanna get with ya and take your picture. My homeboy shot so on me, but that butt you got makes
me so horny.
Watch the breakdown.
I will now be telling you what's going on in our video. So our movement number 1 is the twerk, and its functional classification is the diarthrosis. Its structural classification is the ball and socket and synovial joint, and the justification is in order to rotate our hips, we need our ball and socket joints to move our hips forward and backward, moving the pelvis and the femur. Movement 2 is our hip shake, which its functional classification is the diarthrosis, structural classification is the ball and socket and synovial joint, and the justification is when moving hips side to side, you need your ball and socket at the pelvis and femur to do so. This is using the pelvis and the femur. So our movement number 3 is the single ladies walk, which its functional classification is the diarthrosis, structural classification is the hinge synovial joint, the justification is to push off the ground. You need an ankle joint to push your foot toward the ground while you're moving your leg up, and the articulating bones are the talus, fibula, and tibia. Movement number 4 is the body roll. Its functional classification is diarthrosis. Its structural classification is the biocolonjar and synovial joint. Justification is when rolling your body. It starts off at the knees and moving your hips up and eventually the chest. The articulating bones are the femur, tibia, and patella. Movement number 5 is the kicks. Its functional classification is diarthrosis. Structural classification is ball and socket and synovial joint. Justification to kick the leg, you need your ball and socket and hip joint to move your leg forward and backward. Its articulating bones are the pelvis and the femur. For all my dancers in the audience, our next movement is the pas de bourrée, which its functional classification is the diarthrosis, structural classification is the hinge synovial joint. The justification is to do the pas de bourrée, you need to move your feet off the ground, which requires your ankle joint to push off the ground. The articulating bones are the talus, fibula, and tibia. Movement number 7 is our slide. Its functional classification is the diarthrosis. Structural classification is the ball and socket synovial joint. Justification when moving side to side, the ball and socket of the hip just need to be in play. The articulating bones of the pelvis. So now we have our Kris Jenner. Its functional classification is diarthrosis. Structural classification is hinge synovial joint. Justification is to extend the forearm. Hinge to joint of the elbow needs to be used. Articulating bones are the humerus, ulna, and radius. Our 9th movement is the fishing hook. Its functional classification is the diarthrosis. Structural classification is ball and socket and synovial joint. Justification, in order to move the arm up and forward, you need to use your ball and socket joint. The articulating bones are the humerus, scapula, and clavicle. Our last movement, the arm twist, is the functional classification is the diarthrosis. Structural classification is the ball and socket and synovial joint. The justification is when moving the arm to the side and up and down, the ball and socket at the top of the humerus needs to be used. The articulating bones are the humerus, scapula, and clavicle. Make sure to like and subscribe below.